Oh, take a deep breath in, sit back, grab your tea, coffee, wine, glass of water, whatever you need, because you're in for a real treat. I have my buddy, my pal here, Eraina Ferguson at Hey, I got something to say. Hey, Eraina.
Hey, how are you, Sandy? It's always so good to see you. I'm loving that color on you. And I
Oh,
expected
really?
yellow, but then I was like, she might not wear yellow, so just, wear a little yellow tint underneath. So, yeah.
I had my yellow shirt on and I was like, wait a minute, I gotta wear something else. Eraina and I love yellow. We are both like we look on point in yellow.
Mhm.
So, Eraina, I'm so glad we're doing this. Eraina and I were originally going to be doing a conference in March, listen to
Mhm.
her,
Yeah.
that got rescheduled. And I thought, we had, I think, scheduled this even before the conference had to be rescheduled, didn't we?
Yes, we totally did, but it all worked out for us to still get together. And it's an important time to still gather and talk about good stuff and love
Yeah.
on people.
Yeah, and Listen to Her is gonna still keep going, so I'm so excited we're doing this, and I think you guys might remember, I met Arena, I don't know, years ago, because she was on Hey, I Got Something to Say a few years ago, and then I was fortunate enough to be a part of her TEDx in Apex, and was April? Was it April? That
Yeah,
long?
it was April. Yeah, it was April of last year, but it really feels like a long time ago. It
I
feels
know,
like
right?
it was longer, but it was just April of 2024, which is I still can't believe I did two TEDx's in 1 year.
Oh, yeah, she did too, and then I went down to support her and my friend. Wait, that seems like last year, but that was just a few months ago.
Yes, a few
My
months
goodness.
ago. It's
I saw you
crazy.
posted about Pat Nogar on LinkedIn. That's awesome,
Yes,
man.
yes, I'm so proud of her. 21,000 views.
All right. Well, let's get to Arena. Arena Ferguson is the founder of Listen to Her. God, don't you just love that line? An
Mhm.
online networking community empowering women to build their digital platforms, please help me, and amplify their voices. With a passion for storytelling and connecting, Arena equips women with tools, resources, and encouragement to share their unique prospects with the world. Puts a smile on my face. She is also a speaker, a writer, and an advocate for meaningful community engagement. All right, Arena, I want to say the one positive statement that you gave me for women around the world and men that support us. And you said, you have a unique voice and story that the world needs. Start building your platform today because your impact starts with your courage to share. Tell us why you picked that one.
You know, honestly, it was really authentic for my own journey. I started a blog in my dorm room at Yale in 2010. And I had just come off of a date. It was actually
Hey, I did
Valentine's
not
Day.
know that. In
Yes.
2010?
In 2010, I started a blog in my dorm room at Yale called My Good Life. And honestly, like I just took a photo and I uploaded it and I wrote a little paragraph around about how life is good despite your circumstances. And at the time, I was a single mom to a special needs daughter who was deaf and who is still currently deaf with autism, with a diagnosis of autism. And yeah, I started writing that blog and I wrote once a week for 52 weeks for an entire year. And doing that really charted my digital platform. That was in
Mhm.
2010. So since then, I was thinking with the end in mind. I wasn't thinking, okay, I would be doing a paid community called Listen to Her, or that I would even curate 7 TEDx events. What I did know even back then is that being online and having a presence, having a Googleable presence was important. And so at the time, it was just authentic. Start it, do it, be consistent. It was good for me, it was healing for
Mhm.
me. But then
Wow.
that gave people a place to find me and to share my story. And so, the rest is, as they say, history.
Okay. So there's so much to impact in that. Let's back up for some things I didn't even realize. Wait, so you were at Yale and a mom at the same time?
Yes. Yes. I was a single mom with Taylor during my second master's program. So that was supposed to be like the final bow on things. I was in a master's of arts and religion program with the focus in Black diaspora, and yeah, that I decided to write a blog then after just going out on a very simple positive date. But I was like, man, I'm not like gonna be in this long-term relationship with this person, but and life is not perfect, but it feels good. And I took a picture of one of my favorite things, which was a tote bag from J. Crew. And it had like they had these printed tote bags, and you know me, I like and yeah,
I swag. Gotta
yeah,
have swag.
I love a good swag bag, and that's how it started. That's how my first anything that said Eraina on it at the time. My maiden name was Davis. That's how it all launched.
Okay, so tell them about My Good Life TEDx that you did.
Yes. So fast forward, it's 2010, and a year later, I graduated that year from the program. I met my husband, and yeah, I launched a because of that blog. They end up giving me $500. The city of New Haven in New Haven, Connecticut, where Yale is, gave me $500 to do a storefront. I just told this story to someone a couple days ago about my time post jail, and it falls in line with the My Good Life TEDx. Is that the blog was called My Good Life, talking about good things in our lives. The next thing that was etched in stone was a piece of press from the New Haven Register with a photo of me having opened up my own storefront in downtown New Haven. And
No, that
they had gotten they like I was living downtown in this swanky building with the doorman, me and Taylor, and the local shop owners, business owners, which is what I learned about in my last time in North Carolina as well. In every town, make relationships locally, deal with people in person.
yeah, yeah.
Online digital is great, deal with people. One of the shop owners, Carol Orr, decided, oh, hey, you want to go to this wine and cheese store opening with me? Went with her, and come to find out, that person had also gotten a grant from the city. And I was like, I should open up a storefront. I can give people advice consulting. I'm kind of good at that. And sure enough, I was walking across the street with the city official from the city of New Haven, and she said, okay, you're a Yaley. You'll figure it out. We'll give it to you. But what would you call it? And I said, My Good Life. So that's where the My Good Life story continued. I end up reconnecting with this guy from high school who, connected with me off Facebook. And I was a cheerleader in high school. He was a
Of
basketball
course you
player,
were.
and I was a cheerleader. And we ended up getting married, and we have three more littles. And I kept writing about me and Taylor's story and thinking about that concept of good life all the way back from that blog at Yale, which at that point was like, 52 entries. And I decided to share that the concept of, despite their circumstances, families of children with disabilities deserve a
Mm,
good life. They deserve to think about those
mm.
good things every day. And so the TEDx was serendipitous. It made so much sense that if I get on the TEDx stage, that's what I would talk about. And I was 8 months pregnant, and I got up there, and I was the very first person, and the sound went out on my talk. And so, but I'll let that be the answer to the question. That was my talk about raising a special needs child.
Holy moly. So here I am, years later, I'm meeting and you're knee deep in curating TEDx's,
Mhm.
as well as always wanting to give women a voice and making sure
Yeah,
they had the right tools and techniques to be heard. And now you have listened to her. So I want to back up just a little bit because that's why I wanted to bring you on today to talk more about the Listen to Her platform and
mhm.
how it came about and how even from just wanting to have an in-person workshop, it evolved into what you're going to be doing now.
I appreciate that. So from that first TEDx that went awry, I had a team. At the time I'm living in LA, and God bless LA. Like it's just a really tough time for Los Angeles right now. So I just send good energy to them because no matter when you listen to this, they will still need to be rebuilt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Specifically the Pacific Palisades. And so at the time, I'm in the SoCal area, in the beach cities, in a town called Torrance, but it was the Delthorne neighborhood of Torrance, which was a beautiful neighborhood right near the fifth largest mall in the country, called the Del Amo Mall. And so I decided after my TEDx was interesting, and the team at the venue did not listen to my female led video team. that I would call my very first TEDx event, Listen to Her. And when I look back at those photos and I saw that, I was like, wow. And so I named it that. It was amazing. The energy in there, I mean, still to this day, there is a level of high naturally that you get from curating. You know this, right? From being
Yeah.
behind the scenes at the last one, from being in it yourself, you were
Yeah.
on both sides. It's nothing like you've ever experienced before. It's
Uh-uh.
euphoric. You know it, friend. You know it from helping Pat. I mean, all of these things. And so when that last one was done and we were considering doing this workshop, bringing women together, and you and I had talked about it and we were thrilled about it and we were building it, the name really dropped to me to call it Listen to Her, particularly because I remember that high of the very first event and how these women were energized. They felt energetic and safe. And some of those women in the audience one day went on to be on my TEDx stage. And so
Mm.
I said, I want to create that. So besides having the workshop or the conference, I really wanted to have a space that
Mm.
was specifically for women to be able to not just be heard, to be taught how to not just speak, but communicate effectively, to be able to have the support. What
Okay.
I've learned in my years of living on this earth is that you cannot do it alone.
Heck
You know
no.
that, like, the
Mhm.
biggest epidemic post-COVID is the epidemic of loneliness.
Mm-mm.
And so when I got my master's in religion, which was not an MDiv, here I am basically in what is considered like a seminary divinity school. So a lot of my classmates are like doing ministry right now. They're getting paid well to lead churches and to lead worship places and to lead safe spaces for the LGBTQ community. And so they're in all of this ministry thing. But what
Mhm.
I felt good about is that even as one person, wherever I go, wherever I build, whoever I connect to, it's his own ministry of like bringing people together. No matter what your religious background or what your beliefs are, community is going to be a crucial part of your success. You cannot do it alone, whether it's virtually or in person. Some people,
Mm.
do you know, do not even receive hugs. Do you know if someone's listening right now, I'm caring for you by acknowledging that you may have not been hugged or touched this week. It's
Mm.
devastating. And so I think community is the next biggest revolt. It's the biggest, most like, it's the best thing you can do in this season. And I think that's why I wanted that. I wanted a safe space for women. I'm not sure if it'll be speakers only, if it'll be people from startups, if it'll be entrepreneurs. We'll
Yeah.
know when we all get there. But
Yep.
giving them the tools to build a digital platform is the goal. But we might get in there and decide, hey, we want to learn about X, Y, and Z, or we want to meet up twice a year, or we need retreats. We will know once we get there. And that's what I'm committed to. I'm not committed to my agenda. I'm committed to seeing the needs of the women.
I just can't even tell you how happy I am. I am so freaking thrilled. And listening, this is like a whole nother podcast series of the
Mhm.
evolution of this. And like I'm thinking of things, wait a minute. I want to learn more about the masters in religion, but stay on target.
I'm telling you so.
Uh, it's perfect. It's so meant to be. So I want to break down some of the tips when I reached out to you that you wanted to, help women and men around the world with on this subject. And the reason I hope we can get them all in because it relates to so many of the questions I was getting.
Mhm, mhm.
And it says the same thing. So let's start with your first tip and review it, where you say start small and stay consistent. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
It was so interesting. I really am not big into New Year's resolutions because I feel like they may fail. What I want to do is just be a doer, like resolve it within myself, like write it down, like it's an inside job, not to just spout it out to the world and declare it. Because by day 5, you tired and now you're embarrassed because you won't go to the gym, right? And you know this from being like, a gym owner, like, like people would say, so I'm not big into that. But the word that I heard, I think it was 2023 or 2024. I felt like I did a decent job at doing both years. The word back then was joy. Like live in the space of joy. My word for this year is consistent.
Ooh.
Consistent. And I feel like that's the hardest thing. I didn't know that I would mention that blog from 2010, but the truth of the matter is I was consistent every week with writing that thing. And I did it for 52 weeks and it was such a great healing. So I think starting small and being consistent. What does that mean? That means that setting appointment reminders on your phone for the smallest task for 30 minutes, where you're saying, I'm journaling, I'm working out, or what have you, whatever those are. And so when it comes to the goals specifically related to whatever you're building in that time and consistency and treating it like a own meeting and commitment to yourself is so important. See it out for 6 months straight and then assess it and then move to the other 6 months. But I can be honest, it's so tempting to do another TEDx this year. It's so tempting. But I thought I promised myself listen to her was the main conversation I would have for this year. And so I say that to say that if whatever I do, and I'm not saying I'm not going to do it, but I have to make sure that I have to be consistent. I have to be consistent. So start small, be consistent. 3 months, 6 months, and then push over to that 12-month mark of being consistent with that. And that's what I love about your show. I love your commitment to this platform. I love how you're consistently bringing women, onto this platform and making sure to have positive, amazing content. It's the consistency that brings out the sauce. So that's what I mean. Start small, be consistent. If you find yourself getting roadblocks to that goal, then make a smaller goal. And
Yeah.
I never used to say that. I'm so ambitious. I'm all about Googling large, extra, VIP, 5 star. I'm always about the biggest thing
Yeah.
possible. My one friend calls me extra. But it's only because if you don't start large, then you won't get further than you started. So if you find yourself overwhelmed by, okay, I want to do a podcast, but I need a microphone, that I need this, I
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
well, record on your phone. Do it very simple but
Yeah.
consistently. So that's what I mean about the start small and be consistent.
And by the way, that's something I've worked on my whole life because I'm like you. "Ooh, that looks good. Oh, let's go do that." And so for me, why I started these podcasts years ago is because I have to schedule them and be consistent every week.
Mhm.
I have the
True.
guest, scheduled. So it forces me to have that platform. And you're right. It's better to be consistent, even with journaling, your positive power statements, your word that you were talking about. It's better to just do it for a minute every day than 45 minutes now and then. So I love that. All right, number two, and we know this, but it's so difficult. Embrace your authenticity. Don't try to fit into a mold. All right, come on.
So this is another inside job, right? Because some people don't know who they really are. Like, right? So we tell people to be authentic, but then it's like, be authentically what? Right? And we are right. And so
Right?
that's I mean, we even have to ask ourselves this, right? Like I'm definitely like past the 40 age. And I have to say that I have constantly have to reflect on who I really am and be great with that. I love I think it's Jennifer Lewis, who's this animated amazing actress, and she says this statement one time that like I saw it on Instagram and I just subscribed to it. It's like look yourself in the mirror and say you are beautiful, you are amazing, you are wonderful, and you don't know how powerful that is because
Yeah.
when you do that you are able to accept and own who you truly are. Find that thing that you do actually like, the thing that you got right, not the things that don't feel so great or what you want to change on your face or what you want to change with your hair. And lean into that, loving yourself enough to be able to be authentic.
Mhm.
Because the reason why a lot of people will take on somebody else's mold is because they're not confident in the one that they have. And I love another quote that I've heard out there which says, if you don't like something, change it. And so instead of like coming down on it, just say, oh, okay, I want this better for my teeth before I speak. Okay, well, just go get a teeth whitener strip. It's $14.99. Like that's what you need, be great. Last week I got like your eyebrows are amazing. I went and got my eyebrows arched, and I was like, my whole life changed. Who knew? I mean, like I'm like a different person. I might as well have a 30-inch weave for God's sake. Like I feel completely different. So before you feel like I'm not liking this, and this, there's something on that list that you can change.
Yeah.
You can change it. You can go and turn in a piece of clothing and buy another piece of clothing, right? You
Oh,
can
yeah.
go and
Easy.
resell a purse and sell it and get rid of it and then purchase something else. No one's saying go over your budget or what have you, but if you can go buy a sandwich at this point that's 7.99, you can definitely say, you know what, I'm going to invest in myself. And that was like the best $25 I spent, right? And it changed even how I show up in this conversation.
It's so
So,
true.
so first, start there. And versus, do you don't have to do any super deep work, but start with being honest with yourself about how you feel about you, and then find those things that you love. And when it say embrace the authenticity, it means that don't try so hard to fit into a mold. There are certain like trends that are happening on TikTok and Facebook and all of that stuff. But start with just who you are and what you do well, and embrace that you are, there's no one else who can be you. And my mom said something to me about a month ago, which is, again, is another phrase that people use a lot, but I really heard it. And she's like, nah, baby, they don't understand you all the time because they can't beat you because you are one of one. You are one
Oh,
of
I
one.
love mama.
I love mama. And that goes for everyone. That goes for you, Sandy. That goes for another person. So you are one of one. There's no one who can do it like you. And when I say that, the last thing I'll say on the authenticity, don't be so afraid. What is this paranoia that people are afraid that someone's going to take their stuff? Nobody can be you. So no one's going to
Yeah.
take what you have built. No one can actually have lived your life. No one has lived Irana's life. No one's lived Sandy's life. So they
Mm-mm.
can't step into your shoes and take your idea. Like
No.
sometimes people don't even move on a project because they're so afraid that someone's going to steal something. No one cares that much. There are a billion ideas
Who's
out
recycling it,
what
man, with
they're
my
what they're
spin on it.
yeah, but what they're not gonna do is, 1, they can't be you, and 2, they can't be consistent, and 3, they can't be authentic to who you are.
Yeah.
So you have something that's so valuable. So yeah, so that's where I say, do the little bit of hard work that says, how do I really feel about me right now? And
Yeah.
once you do something as very small thing to improve that, being authentic is gonna be so much easier.
I love that, Raina. I love it. All right, number 3, leverage community support. Join networks like Listen to Her to gain encouragement, tools, accountability for your journey. I just wanna say, I got a bunch of questions on this because those buggers, there's still some women out there, lovely women, successful women. They think it's like they should know this on their own. They're
Mm,
afraid to reach out and get help, but yet this one woman goes, I know, Sandy, but please ask Arena, how can I stop spinning my wheels? It just is been ingrained in me that I should do it on my own. And
yeah.
that's a
No.
weakness to take help.
It's no, taking help is not a weakness. It was at the height and still is a priority to me, even without like, all of this kind of tech money floating around that I had with my 2 roles. But I definitely loved having a housekeeper, a nanny, an assistant, an office space with the community. Like at one point, all I had to do was just wake up and be me. Like that felt good. And even as I'm building in that leverage to do that again, help is wonderful, right? We all take it in some ways. It's great when you have a great support system to support you to brainstorm ideas. Look at how we collaborated and still collaborate. If we didn't have each other to say, hey, you should think about that, or perhaps have you thought about creating that? That's an idea. And I can tell you a lot of the things I've built nothing by myself. It has been in the form of some
Yeah.
community, in person or virtual, whether it's like a cohort or a boot camp. And then when it's not when you are done, you also don't make it transactional where you go in there and get something and you leave. Because guess what? Even when I come to new roles, and I always connect with the vendors from the different softwares that my team uses because I
Oh,
want them to be a part of the journey. And then that way, when things get tripped up, I can still come to them. So I think, no, you don't have to do it all yourself. You want to be able to outsource it. I even have a virtual assistant who I outsource to other people, who has been a help to
Ooh,
them to be able to complete stuff. So you want
that's
to
so
be able
nice.
to talk,
That's
to
so nice.
brainstorm, and you don't have to do everything on the list that someone proposes. But you'd be surprised what a good
Mm.
conversation will be. It made my heart so happy when I logged on to LinkedIn today and saw a mentee that I connected with. She is the walking listen to her. The young women who are the walking listen to hers, there, I mean, she like was just appointed CTO of someone's company and she has a job as a developer. And she connected with me for 15 minutes every 2 weeks. And she did the next thing I told her, she did it. She did it.
Yeah,
She did
yeah,
it. She did it.
that's
And
awesome.
so, and so I'm thinking about it's not just me, it's other women who have valuable advice to give.
Yeah.
Think about phrasing it this way. Think about doing it this way. And so I say all that to say that community is really important, and just even for emotional support to remember you're not alone, to get that validation. It's really, really a great resource. So yeah, you don't have to do it alone.
I'm all about it, and you know what? I know what my strengths are, and I know what other people I need in my life to fill in those gaps, and there's a lot of things, Arena, that I don't really need to be good at, like, I don't even want to.
It's I don't want to. I don't want to do Canva. I don't. I liked having a team to do it. It's a lot.
Yeah. Alright, invest in learning, explore resources like workshops, webinars, and coaching. This is a big one. I mean, I don't know about you, but I think it would be great, maybe you'll be doing this with Listen to Her. I constantly am seeking knowledge, but sometimes I don't know where to go. You know what I mean? I'm all about seeking knowledge, but where to go? Like, you know what I mean? For making
Yeah.
sure that I'm not wasting my time, money, and energy.
Well, to be honest, what I like about this platform, that I'm building and that's built already, but excited for the members, is that there's a resource section where you can go through the resources. One of the things I loved, I mean,
Gotcha.
this woman is probably not even, doing her blog anymore, so I can say her name, but it was this blog called Monica Mingo. And before I logged into Facebook, before I checked my email, I would go to this site. And because it was a source of information, inspiration, like it was the only site I visited, right? And it was just this blog about her telling her day-to-day life. Well, clearly listen to her, it's going to be it's way more than that. But I started to say that LinkedIn is so loud. It's overwhelming. A lot of people are pretty much over Facebook and the toxicity is happening in the
Ooh,
comments and all of that. So the new thing is communities.
yeah,
It's an
yeah,
opportunity to branch off and engage and get connection and support all in one place. Also, to be connected to events, to be connected to posts and news and things that are value to you, because we do have to turn off some of the noise. We do have to
yeah.
put down our phones and really pay attention. And you want to have it all in one place. So that's what I'm excited about.
Oh, Arena, I'm excited too. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for everyone that's a part of it. So before we go, I wanted you just to take a little time telling people a little bit more about where they can find the Listen to Her community, how they can join, how they can research more information if they were interested.
Definitely. So you can go to listentoher.co and you can click on join community. We're going to have a really big tab right there, at the top. And you can also reach out to me on LinkedIn and connect. We're going to have events there. Please follow my LinkedIn, on Eraina Ferguson, my personal LinkedIn, also the listen to her.co. The community actually has a LinkedIn. I'm not the community. The website and the startup has an actual page. So the community page itself is separate, of course, inside. So you would have
Okay.
to join. But we have a number of events coming up. We have a LinkedIn one-on-one workshop. We have a workshop that is helping women connect to speaking opportunities, to kind of do an audit of that. We have resources of some of our favorite TEDx talks. We even are considering doing a TED book club where we're actually reading the TED book, which I think is pretty cool. Just to have it as an FYI in our head, right? Of
Yeah.
what the brand is. So we have so many amazing events. So listen to her.co. They can go on to join and it'll send you to a link to directly get in there and get in there. Like test it out for a month. It's worth the investment. You're gonna get like within the first day or two, you're gonna get so much valuable content, especially in the resource tab for speaker bureaus. And then we're gonna start to divide it up into
Mm,
whatever realm you're in. If you are a startup, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a public speaker, you get to
gotcha.
still be able to be a part of your tribe, right? And connect. So I'm thrilled. So listen to her.co. You can go there and please follow me on LinkedIn because I'm making some really um, great posts about opportunities. Like one is I did an assessment and research on the coaching. I'm sorry, the speaking business as a like a keynote speaker, a public speaker, and it's only 1.9 billion. But before you judge me on not respecting a billion, 1.9 billion, there are more than 1.9 billion people, right? And
Yeah,
so for it to that means $1 a person. So it's
yeah,
not a lot. But the other industries like healthcare, tech, and other industries have like trillions of dollars, right? So that's telling you that just having a speaking career may not be enough. What you're
yeah,
going to need to do is to understand and weave through these other industries so that some of those dollars can be beneficial to you with your speaking business.
yeah.
So I did a post on that on LinkedIn and it got a lot of feedback. And it's true. It's like, actually, it's only 1.9 billion. So am I going to work overly hard for this? Or am I going to make myself a subject matter
So true.
expert in what I'm doing so that I can speak to these other industries? How is what I'm doing in my genre connecting to these other industries? Just
Yeah.
like you talk about joy in healthcare, joy in serving, like so many ways that
Mm.
you even as a speaker can be a part of that of the other industries.
I love that, and that's so important, and your posts are the bomb, so that's true. Okay,
Right.
before we go, Eraina Ferguson, I just wanna say thank you so much for taking the time to be on. I know you're
Mhm.
going in so many different directions, but before we leave, I got something to say, audience. Is there anything we didn't get in that you wanna get in?
I think take care. I think a lot of times as we're on this entrepreneur journey, business journey, life is happening all around us. I mean, let's be clear. The first 15 days of the year were not a cakewalk for some around the world, even. And so, as
Yeah,
we think about all the different changes that are happening, take care, rest, reset. If that small, consistent thing doesn't happen today, big deal. If you weren't that authentic and you stole somebody's post, who cares? Like, I'm nobody's picking you, okay? Nobody's picking you on this. Nobody's counting, okay? If you fail at that checklist I gave you, it's okay to truly take care. And I think that's what I'm learning in the midst of all the busyness to take
mm,
care, to drink water, to rest, to do your self-care as well and your wellness journey. I won't say self-care because sometimes it sounds privileged because everybody can't do self-care. So if you're just staying as well as you can from day to day, do
yeah,
that
yeah.
and take care and don't overstress on it all. It's going to be time and space for all of it.
I love it. All right, my hey, I got something to say, people. Araina and I would really, really appreciate you sharing, liking, and rating it. It means the world to us. It really does make a difference. And please reach out to Araina if you have any questions and go check out, listen to her. Trust me, you're going to want to be a part of it. And you know what I'm going to say? Until next time, toodles.
Bye bye.
Bye, Araina. Thank you.
Bye bye.